Poor boy warns chairman of a deadly plot. Stop. Your wife has already cut the brakes. It was a beautiful morning. The sun shone brightly over an upscale neighborhood in Beverly Hills. In front of a lavish mansion, a sleek black luxury car was ready. James Carter, a successful real estate mogul, stepped out dressed in a perfectly tailored suit. His face carried the confident look of a man accustomed to power. Beside him was his elegant wife, Olivia Carter, in a sophisticated designer dress, always accompanying him at important social events. "You're heading to a meeting early today?" Olivia asked gently, her smile bright but her eyes betraying a flicker of unease. "Yes, it's an important one. I need to be there on time," James responded, his tone brisk. As the chauffeur stepped forward to open the car door, a scrawny young boy suddenly dashed toward them from a distance. He wore a worn-out t-shirt and clutched a stack of lottery tickets. His breathing was heavy, but his eyes were filled with urgency. "Sir, don't drive that car," he shouted, his voice trembling. James and Olivia both turned abruptly. Startled, James furrowed his brows, looking at the boy with a mix of confusion and irritation. "What are you saying? Why are you yelling like that?" James asked, his voice sharp. The boy stood in front of James, panting, his words rushed. "Sir, I overheard, last night, a woman and a man talking. They said they cut the brakes of your car. Please, don't drive it." The air around them grew still. Olivia's face froze in shock. But within seconds, she lashed out, her voice furious. "You little liar. Are you making up stories just to get money? Get out of here." The boy held his ground, his voice quivering but determined. "I swear, I'm telling the truth. I was sleeping near the parking lot behind the mansion. I heard them say you wouldn't be coming back and that they would get everything you owned." James glanced at the boy, uncertainty flickering in his mind. Olivia quickly grabbed his arm, her voice dripping with frustration. "Are you seriously considering this nonsense? This is ridiculous. You should just send him away." But the boy pleaded, his eyes filled with desperation. "Please, sir, just check the brakes. If nothing's wrong, I'll leave right away. But if they are, you'll know I'm telling the truth." James hesitated, his gaze shifting between the boy and Olivia. For the first time, he noticed a slight change in her expression, a fleeting moment of panic that she quickly masked. "Fine, check the brakes," James ordered his chauffeur. The driver, though surprised, nodded and hurried to inspect the vehicle. Olivia's face tightened, though she tried to maintain her composure by throwing a few more scolding words at the boy. Minutes later, the chauffeur returned, his face pale. "Sir, the brakes have been cut. If you had driven, it would have been extremely dangerous." James stood frozen, his eyes wide. He turned to Olivia, who instinctively took a step back. She forced a calm expression but couldn't hide the flicker of fear in her eyes. The boy, still standing by, lowered his head but spoke firmly. "See, I wasn't lying. I just wanted to save you." James stared at Olivia, his mind racing with suspicion and unease. A cold shiver ran down his spine as he realized that danger could come from those he trusted most. James Carter, 52 years old, was a highly respected real estate mogul in the United States. He owned numerous large-scale projects spanning across the country and was admired in the business world for his decisiveness and exceptional leadership. To the outside world, James was seen as the perfect man, successful in both career and family. He deeply loved his wife, Olivia, believing she was his unwavering support as he built his empire. However, his busy lifestyle and unwavering trust in those around him had blinded him to the changes happening right under his nose. To James, family was the most important thing, yet he had no idea that greed had slowly crept into the hearts of those he trusted most. Olivia Carter, 40, possessed a refined and sophisticated appearance, always maintaining the image of an ideal wife. Since marrying James, she had lived in luxury, enjoying everything he provided, but behind her gentle smile and outward affection was an ambitious woman. James's success did not make her proud, instead, it fueled her silent discontent. She craved full control over his fortune so she could live the life she desired, free from reliance on anyone. Then there was William Carter, James's older brother, once a businessman himself. William had faced failure in multiple ventures. He always felt overshadowed by his younger brother's achievements and grew resentful. Envious of James's success, William decided to join forces with Olivia to eliminate James and take over his fortune and power. Their scheme was meticulously planned, with his easy access to James's properties. William discreetly tampered with the brakes of James's car inside the garage. Their plan was to make James's death appear as an unexpected accident, leaving no trace of foul play. Afterward, they would legally claim his inheritance and seize control of all his assets. However, things did not unfold as they had hoped. That night, in a parking lot near the mansion, a young homeless boy named Ethan had chosen the spot to sleep. Thin, scrappy, and street-smart, Ethan's worn-out clothes barely concealed his sharp instincts. While searching for a place to hide, he unexpectedly overheard a chilling conversation. "Tomorrow, it all ends," Olivia's cold voice echoed. "The brakes are cut, as long as he doesn't check. No one will suspect a thing." William's voice followed, filled with smug confidence. "Once it's done, the fortune is ours. He won't see it coming." Ethan stayed completely still, carefully memorizing every word. He didn't fully understand their plan, but his instincts screamed that something terrible was about to happen. That entire night, he couldn't sleep. His eyes remained fixed on the grand mansion where James Carter rested, unaware of the danger awaiting him. By dawn, Ethan made a decision. He had to do something. He didn't know who James Carter was, but he knew that if he didn't act, a man would die. Ethan waited anxiously outside the mansion, hoping to warn him before it was too late. As the chauffeur knelt down to inspect the braking system, James stood silently beside him, his eyes filled with unease. A few moments later, the driver looked up, his face stricken with alarm. "Sir, the brakes have been cut. If you had driven, it would have been extremely dangerous." The confirmation hit James like a bolt of lightning. He stood frozen, a chilling sensation creeping down his spine. He turned to Olivia, who was standing a few steps away. For the first time, doubt flickered in his eyes. Ethan remained still beside him, tears welling up, but his voice was firm despite his trembling. "I told you. I heard them clearly. They said you wouldn't be coming back after this trip." James shifted his gaze to Ethan, his expression troubled. "What exactly did you hear? Tell me everything." Ethan took a deep breath and recounted every word of the conversation he had overheard the night before. The hushed voices of Olivia and William in the parking lot. The cold precision in their plan. "I was just sleeping there by accident," Ethan insisted, his voice laced with sincerity. "But I heard them say it. They said they cut the brakes. And that you wouldn't survive." Olivia, who had been listening nearby, immediately interjected, her voice sharp with anger. "This kid is lying. James, don't believe this nonsense. He's just a homeless boy trying to make up a story for money." James studied Olivia's face, his suspicion growing, yet he maintained a calm demeanor. "Olivia, relax. This isn't something we can take lightly. Why would this boy make up such a serious accusation?" Olivia hesitated, a flicker of panic flashing across her face before she quickly regained her composure. "You don't understand, James. Kids like this will say anything for a few dollars. Don't let him manipulate you." But Olivia's words failed to erase the seed of doubt that had already taken root in James's mind. Instead of arguing, he turned back to Ethan and placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "You don't need to be afraid. I'll make sure we get to the bottom of this. Thank you for telling me the truth." Without another word to Olivia, James ordered his chauffeur to review all security footage from the garage and the parking lot near the house. At the same time, he discreetly arranged for private investigators to monitor Olivia and William's every move. Over the next few days, James did his best to maintain a normal outward appearance. But inside, he was in turmoil. He started recalling every strange occurrence from the past, Olivia's sudden disappearances, William's secretive visits, and the subtle changes in Olivia's expression whenever he mentioned his assets. A few days later, the chauffeur returned with a crucial piece of evidence, security footage from the parking lot. The video clearly showed William sneaking into the garage late at night, while Olivia stood outside, acting as a lookout. Alongside the footage, Ethan had also managed to provide an audio recording. "The brakes are cut," Olivia's voice echoed. "Tomorrow, it all ends. Are you sure everything is perfect? No mistakes?" The words rang through James's study like a final verdict. His hands clenched into fists as he struggled to contain his anger and heartbreak. The woman he had once adored, the brother he had trusted, Both had conspired to take his life for money. James stood motionless, staring out of the window. The California sun shone brightly outside, but it did nothing to warm the cold void that had formed within him. One question echoed in James's mind: why? The Carter mansion was illuminated with dazzling lights, the atmosphere brimming with the anticipation of an important gathering. Olivia stood at the entrance in a stunning evening gown, greeting William with a warm smile, yet her eyes held an undeniable glimmer of curiosity. "It's been a long time since we've had a family dinner like this," William remarked, his voice carrying a hint of self-satisfaction. "James, you've really outdone yourself." "Don't worry, William. Tonight will be a night to remember," James replied smoothly, lifting his wine glass with an unreadable expression. The dinner unfolded with the entire extended family present. James played his role perfectly, engaging in conversation, appearing cheerful, but deep inside, his plan was already in motion. As dessert was served, he gently tapped his wine glass, signaling for everyone's attention. "I appreciate everyone for being here tonight," he began, his voice steady. "I've gathered you all not just for a family reunion, but because I have an important announcement to make." He paused for a moment, his gaze locking onto Olivia and William. Just then, a lawyer entered the room, carrying a large stack of documents. Olivia's eyes flickered with unease, and she subtly tensed. "Recently, I realized the importance of being fully prepared for the future," James continued. "So, I've made some updates to my will." Olivia's breath hitched slightly. "Your will?" she asked, her tone cautious. "That's right," James said, his voice calm yet firm. "I've added a crucial clause. If I die in an accident or under any suspicious circumstances, my entire fortune will be donated to charity. No one in this family will inherit a single cent." A suffocating silence fell over the room. Olivia and William turned pale, their faces betraying sheer panic. William shot up from his chair, forcing an uneasy laugh. "James, what are you saying? That's completely unnecessary. We're family." Olivia quickly interjected, her voice layered with forced affection. "Yes, darling, you're overthinking this. Our family is united. Why would you worry about something like that?" James simply regarded them with an icy stare before nodding toward an assistant. A large screen flickered to life, displaying security footage. The entire room gasped as the video revealed William sneaking into the garage late at night, with Olivia standing outside on watch. Their voices echoed clearly through an accompanying audio recording. "The brakes are cut," Olivia's voice confirmed. "Tomorrow, it all ends. Are you sure everything is perfect? No mistakes?" William's voice followed. "Don't worry. Once it's done, the fortune is ours. He won't suspect a thing." The room was stunned into silence. Gasps of shock rippled through the guests. Olivia's face drained of all color as she stammered. "No, this is fake. It's manipulated. You can't believe this." William, equally frantic, tried to salvage the situation. "James, listen, this is a misunderstanding. You can't just accuse your own brother based on this." But James had already made his decision. He slowly rose from his seat, his voice low and unwavering. "I trusted both of you. But greed blinded you. I conducted my own investigation. And everything is crystal clear now. You didn't just betray me, you tried to kill me." At that moment, the double doors of the dining hall swung open, and two police officers stepped inside. Olivia and William froze in place, horror written all over their faces. "Olivia Carter and William Carter," one of the officers announced, his voice firm. "We have received a formal complaint along with substantial evidence of conspiracy and attempted murder. You are under arrest. Please come with us." Olivia lunged forward, grabbing James's hand, her eyes brimming with tears. "James, please, I was wrong. I only did this for our future. Forgive me. James, I was wrong. I only did this for our future. Please, forgive me," Olivia pleaded, tears streaming down her face. But James merely looked at her with cold detachment before turning away. William, no longer able to maintain his composure, collapsed onto his knees. "I know I was wrong," he admitted, his voice cracking. "I was blinded by greed. But don't let this tear our family apart." James gave no response. He silently watched as the police escorted both Olivia and William out of the mansion. His heart was heavy with conflicting emotions. Yet at the same time, he felt a deep sense of relief. The truth had finally come to light. The living room, once filled with tension and betrayal, now stood eerily quiet. However, in James's eyes, a newfound sense of justice had emerged. In the wake of the scandal, the Carter mansion became a place of peace. Gone were the schemes and deception. James spent time reflecting on everything that had transpired. He couldn't forget the moment Ethan had come running to warn him, how the boy had stood firm despite being dismissed and ridiculed. That small, frail child had saved his life. After the chaotic family gathering, James called Ethan over, placing a firm yet gentle hand on the boy's shoulder. "You saved my life. If it weren't for you, I don't know what would have happened. From now on, you won't have to live on the streets anymore. I want to adopt you as my son." Ethan's eyes widened in shock, tears welling up. He could hardly believe that a man as powerful and wealthy as James Carter would offer him such an opportunity. James didn't stop at adoption. He ensured Ethan received a proper education, enrolling him in one of the most prestigious schools. "I will teach you everything I've learned in life," James promised, not just about business, but about integrity, honesty, and how to be a good man. The betrayal of Olivia and William had left deep scars on James. But instead of letting the pain consume him, he chose to change. He no longer buried himself in work or wealth. Instead, he devoted more time to those who truly cared for him. He regularly visited Ethan at school, participated in charity work, and helped those in need, children who, like Ethan, had been left without a home or family. Money can blind people, but true value in life isn't found in wealth. It's in how we treat one another. James shared during a charity event. Meanwhile, Olivia and William faced the full extent of the law. They were convicted of attempted murder, conspiracy, and financial fraud. In prison, Olivia lost the glamour and arrogance she once wore so proudly. The solitude forced her to confront the harsh reality that her greed had destroyed her life. William, who had once been a trusted older brother, was now consumed by regret. The fortune they had schemed to steal had vanished, leaving them with nothing but shame and isolation. This incident did more than just change the lives of James and Ethan. It served as a stark lesson on greed and betrayal. Ethan, once a homeless boy, now had a family and a bright future ahead. James, once a businessman too engrossed in his empire, had rediscovered what truly mattered in life. Standing on the grand balcony of the Carter estate, James and Ethan gazed at the horizon as the sun set over Los Angeles. The sky was painted in shades of gold and crimson, a symbol of a new beginning. "We'll build a future together, Ethan," James said, resting a hand on the boy's shoulder. "Not just for you, but for those who need it." Ethan nodded, a grateful smile spreading across his face. He knew that from this moment on, his life had turned a new page, one filled with love, meaning, and hope. From a businessman betrayed by those closest to him, James Carter found a renewed sense of purpose and the true value of sincerity. To James, Ethan was not just the boy who had saved his life, he was also the inspiration that led him to embrace a new, more meaningful chapter. After all the chaos and pain, the warmth of reunion and love finally returned to James and Ethan's lives. Ethan, the once homeless boy selling lottery tickets, was now James's adopted son. He had not only found a home but also the love and guidance of the man he had risked everything to save. In his first days living with James, Ethan felt out of place. He had spent years sleeping on sidewalks, surviving on scraps, and now, he was living in a grand mansion. However, James's patience and genuine care helped Ethan quickly feel like he truly belonged. "You saved my life, Ethan. From now on, I'll teach you everything you need to know to live a happy and honorable life," James told him one peaceful morning in the garden. Ethan worked hard, absorbing every lesson James taught him. He didn't just learn academic knowledge, he learned values, honesty, gratitude, and respect for others. The events that had unfolded changed James deeply. Once a man consumed by business and wealth, he now understood the true worth of meaningful relationships. Life isn't about accumulating riches, it's about giving and receiving love. James shared during a heartfelt conversation with Ethan. Under James's mentorship, Ethan grew into a confident and compassionate young man. He excelled in school, actively participated in social causes, and became a source of pride for James. To Ethan, James wasn't just a father, he was a teacher, a role model, and the person who had given him a second chance at life. I will never forget what you've done for me, Ethan told James on his 18th birthday. I'll do my best to live up to your love and trust. James and Ethan's journey carried a powerful message. Courage and honesty are always rewarded. Though just a poor boy with nothing, Ethan had bravely spoken up for the truth, saving a man's life and in turn, changing his own fate completely. Money can buy many things, but it can never buy true love and loyalty. James realized, in his darkest moments, he had learned that the most valuable things in life weren't material possessions, but genuine relationships. One evening, as the sun set over Los Angeles, James and Ethan stood at the gates of their mansion, gazing at the golden horizon. Their eyes shone with hope and belief in a brighter future. We'll build everything together, Ethan, a future not just for you, but for others as well, James said, placing a firm hand on Ethan's shoulder. Ethan nodded, smiling warmly. He knew that from this moment on, his life had entered a new chapter, one filled with love, meaning, and endless possibilities. Thank you for joining us on this heartfelt journey of resilience, kindness, and redemption. If this story moved you, let us know your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear your perspective. Share this story with others who might need a reminder that courage and compassion can truly change lives. Stay tuned for more inspiring stories. And until next time, take care and spread kindness.